The CEO of Ronald McDonald House Charities says fundraising is down by 60% in some areas of the country. Kathy Loblaw says it may require dipping into a fund to keep the houses operating for out-of-town families with sick kids in hospital. Well, joining me now is Lieutenant Colonel John Murray, the Territorial Secretary for Communications at the Salvation Army. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good afternoon, Nima. Good to be with you.
Now, holiday fundraising is looking a lot different this year, sir. So can you tell us a little bit more on the Salvation Army's new electronic fundraising pads?
Absolutely. Well, of course, this time of year in a normal Christmas season, we'd have more than 2,000 Christmas kettle locations across 400 Canadian communities. And of course, the money raised stays right in community, invested in the lives of Canadians every day throughout the calendar year. This year, of course, because of COVID, we've been restricted in the number of kettles that we can have out. So about 1,000 kettle locations are out across Canada right now. But because of the new tip-tap donation program that we have, you referenced, where it's a touchless system. You can walk up and just simply make a $5 donation using your debit or Visa or MasterCard. You can, of course, keep those kettles boiling, if you will, and it allows Canadians to still invest in the lives of people, even though those locations aren't manned by a volunteer.
And how has this new method of fundraising been so far in terms of donations?
Well, I think it's important to recognize that our Christmas Kettle program that we do, our fundraising appeal, is a multi-platform program. Christmas Kettles, obviously the most visible symbol of help and hope that the Salvation Army has during the holiday season, as I mentioned, in 400 Canadian communities. But the reality is that there are other ways to donate. People can engage at salvationarmy.ca, where they can make a specified donation to any ministry of the Salvation Army, and of course, the communities right where they live. They can call 1-800-SAL-ARMY to make a donation over the phone as well, or simply through mail to 2 Overlea Boulevard, Toronto. And again, they can specify their donation. And of course, for all those donations, we'll receive tax receipts for the 2020 calendar year.
And what programs in your organization are supported through these donations, sir, so that they can continue throughout the year?
Excellent question. You think of the COVID response that we continue to do right now. We think of food and food security. During the holiday season, we think of Christmas help. So we think of toys, we think of Christmas hampers, but it's much deeper than that. It's about food and food security. It's about shelter. It's about clothing and meeting people at their point of need, not only during the holiday season, but of course, as we consider into Q1 and Q2, the unknowns about COVID and what that means for us. And of course, here in Ontario, with going into the lockdown and necessary restrictions, the work of our organization is going to be called upon even more. And as an essential service in communities where we serve, the Salvation Army can be there to partner and to respond to the needs of those who come to us during this very difficult time.
Now, as you mentioned, it is a very difficult time for many charities. So what are some of the key obstacles that charities are facing this year in terms of securing funding?
Well, that's an excellent question. Of course, organizations such as the Salvation Army, one of the things, of course, that we rely upon is volunteers. And during this Christmas season in particular, we've had to scale back that because of the safety and health and safety and concerns, not only for our volunteers, but for our employees. And of course, those that we serve, those people who come to us every day. As I mentioned, that we are an essential service. So our community and family services offices located in 400 Canadian communities will continue to be open, and certainly right across Ontario during this lockdown, with PPE and provisions and the necessary security things in place to make sure that our staff and those who come to us for support, are deemed appropriate. But the reality is, it is a challenge for us. There are many charities that are doing important work in communities right across Canada. And, we would simply encourage people to remember that when they're investing in charities like the Salvation Army, that they are indeed investing in the lives of Canadians in their community. And I think that's hugely important. The other organizations that you referenced off the top do hugely important work within the community. And it's when we all come together, we're stronger as a country, we're stronger as communities, and certainly would invite Canadians to remember the charitable sector and certainly the Salvation Army and those organizations doing important work during this holiday season.
All right, sir. Thank you again for your time today on our show.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas.